Welcome to the stream, viewers. Today we are pixing in a prelim, performing so-called hard testing for the upcoming RC Bologna, where I will go free and drop anyway, so why am I spending time on this? I don't know, but I felt compelled to do so. First hand is a one-lander, which makes it unplayable. Would be pretty good if any of my spells was randomly exchanged for a Darkslick Shores, but unfortunately that is not the case. So I don't think I can keep a hand that does play a Stormchaser talent into Novice Inspector into nothing. Novice Inspector, let's say it's an innovation. Text. Holy shit, chat. Did I get muted? Was I muted from the beginning? Or just at some point? Because I said so many words and it would be a waste. Anyways. Kurwa mać, no. Jak można grać w te jebane grę, no? To już kipuję, bo nie wytrzymam. I'm not gonna let Magic Online bully me. I demand a land off the top of my deck. Instantly. This very moment. A Concealed Courtyard. Modo? What part of Concealed Courtyard did you not understand? Let's play this so if I join Concealed Courtyard, I get to pick it up, replay, or like it's just better overall. Am I locking Pixie in? So I think Ochulus might be an insane deck to play, but I haven't played with it much yet. I will play with it a little bit today. But I'm on Pixie. Can I just jump into lockdown and then bounce it? Also just lockdown check my opponent, maybe they don't have it. How easy is it to beat lockdown this game? How does jamming into lockdown even look like? Because I play Fear and Bouncy Stormchaser's talent and then holding up a Pierce for my opponent to play stock up. It's not great. Maybe it is great actually. They either play stock up, lockdown, or nothing. So maybe I should play Pixie and just spell pierce anything. What about Izzet Prowess? Do I think it's gonna be a good deck for the RC? I think it's gonna be an incredible deck for the RC. Or at least a good one. It's a really hard deck though. Which is arguably a downside. So they do nothing. Gloomlake Verge. If I play a talent, then I attack my opponent for 6, they go to 10. The next turn I have 8 power. But if I go Tatabe, talent, replay talent, that is enough to lethal. So it seems like there's no point in deploying the Fear of Isolation. Seems like crying and demanding lands actually worked, just one turn delay happened though. Still thinking of what kind of Ochulus to play. Siren is fine, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know either. I unfortunately only got one match with Ochulus. In. What is that? Moment of truth. Resolves. Worst case, they put Omni into play and then they into graveyard and then they have a Faras Dispersal, but if they fail either, then I guess I'm fine. Unfortunately, this is not a card I can counter. put Omni into the graveyard, that sucks. So my opponent is at 14, which 12, which we need to make those 5/5s to kill villain. How about attack for 4, put my opponent down to 8, hold Tatabe mana. So I have an interaction for Omni. Plus zone. Should still kill next turn, shouldn't die to lockdown. So I guess I pick up his talent, right? Hopefully they don't have a negate or something, main deck or spell pierce, some people do. And now villain needs to do something to survive, and I need not to top deck something to not kill him anyway, so... Well... Show me another dispersal, friend. And then avoid me top decking a Hopeless Nightmare. No nie. Hopeless Nightmare is trying to play Magic the Gathering and ever win. The game is way too hard. Keep a one-lander, you like are mana screwed, but then suddenly by turn 6 you're giga flooded. Interesting game though, still, like with all of those situations in here. Lots of interesting decisions. But I guess basically my hope right now is to draw a Hopeless Nightmare and burn them down. Unfortunately, I guess like an NTR wouldn't be enough to kill them. Go for the throat wouldn't. So I had plenty of draws that actually didn't do all that much. Temporary cockdown. Yep. This town ain't big enough. It's not a horrible draw right now. This card's Rolling Dragon Storm. That means they have plenty of action. Next time cry for lands just a smidge less. Yeah, should just limit my emotional outbursts. Then it will be fine. Right, for the win. Thraben Inspector into Hopeless Nightmare one time. And by Thraben I mean Novice, because Thraben actually doesn't exist in the game of Magic the Gathering nowadays. Format standard. Hi. If villain ever finds Abuelos into a payoff, they will win. They did discard a Dragon Storm, so I mean I would suspect that they do have it, because otherwise they would just keep action cards. It seems like an X spell, so death isn't coming. Marangriva Regent, yep. Hi Mr. Kani, how are you? Oh, I'm great. So this is a loop. You draw your deck by replaying the dragon over and over. You can see if they play invasions or something. I don't know. Ay. Sorry for the off topic. How is Amulet positioning in this meta? I haven't played Amulet lately all that much, but I think it's incredible. They play one founding the third path to deck you now. Well, that's what I want to see, if they play the founding or if they play the invasion. I certainly have seen people do both. But I think Amulet is great, right? I assume that the prowess matchup is extremely good, although I played it a total amount of one time and I got giga unlucky and lost. I don't know how much people play of that, but it's not a deck that's good against Amulet. It has no interaction and Goldfish is slower, so has to be Blood Mooning. Platinum Angel on the sideboard, what's that? Just Platinum Angel so you can't lose and then you go 5-0. Crazy. Maybe Prismatic Ending in some lists is a problem. Well, that's like saying, yeah, maybe they passed. They probably passed with just the contest. That's like saying, yeah, I guess people play Lightning Bolt in their deck. Like, seems tough to beat with your Lightning Boltable deck. Like, sure, yeah, but I need to go for the fraud for anything. Not really. They bring Voice of Victory pretty often. Preacher is kind of mid. Loran might be better. Well, the Preacher I don't hate too much. Loran mainly useful against Lockdown, but kind of Preacher is the same. Novice Inspector maybe not the greatest into a Lockdown deck. But if it lets me summon my Fear of Isolation more often, then I honestly don't mind it. And also curved into Kaito. Grand Abolisher, yeah. Typically. But my interaction, well, like Voice of Victory more often than Grand Abolisher, but that's why my interaction is not really counters. I have 2 Spell Pierce, but also 2 Duress and 2 Vost Vacuum. I don't think I want any anti-Rs or GTFOs, really. Very nice hand. Do you not worry about people stream sniping when you play with no delay? I do not, in fact. Like, assuredly it happens a portion of the time, but also, so what? Oh no, they discarded Omni. Thankfully I have a Ghost Vacuum, so it's fine. Damage from Koilos counter incoming, that's fine, we're against Omniscience. Is turning Omni into a creature the only way to reanimate it? Yes, but even with that being the case, I do not think it is reasonable to try to attack them by killing their Omniscience with a removal spell. Oh, this time my opponent keeps a 1-lander, crazy. Are they on Regent Omni? They had Regent, we did not see the... Battle at all. Oh, really? But this kinda... Sure, buddy. I'm playing for Fear of Isolation today because I have come to a realization that Kirin is actually very weak against prowess. Wow. Fear of Isolation is insane because a 3 toughness creature is actually just so hard for them to deal with. If they lockdown me, I'll just bounce the lockdown, then they'll have to discard again. Sounds really rough for them. So just like It's very hard to answer the Quarry Steelcutter card itself, but as long as you position yourself in a way where you don't just try to answer it, but rather just play a normal game of Magics against them, I think you're actually fine in the matchup, and it's not too hard to beat Quarry Steelcutter if you aren't behind on board, and playing a turn 1 thing into turn 2 Fear of Isolation goes a long way. Don't want to sacrifice my nightmares. Feels like there's no need to. Like, I think I'm fine even if I just draw a few more lands. Oh, Kirin and Talentos, which I'm not deploying right now. Would rather keep up my Tatabe. Just in case. It's kind of rough that you can Duress away a Marang River Regent, actually. If you think about it. Seems like lethal. To me. What do I think about Entity Tracker? I did not really like it all that much because there is plenty of free toughness removal, but there is not much for toughness removal. So I'm playing with Preachers. Preacher has been alright. It does what it's supposed to do. Have I seen this version? Kanister is a pretty nice one. Alright, I'm waiting for the version. Version of what? Yeah, I've seen it. I'm actually in an RC testing group with Barczek and Ardosik, and they came up with that. WinCon, and then Ardosik 5-0'd a league, and then it spread. It does make sense, like you say. Wow, Cyborg Palaji is so funny. You just say sideboard slots. And main deck slots. Founding kind of stinky to draw, but probably less so than Invasion. You can just play it for 2 mana, mill yourself. Which you can flip an Omni. That's sometimes all you need. If they play Marang River Regents, is there any chance I want Dreams of Steel and Oil over Preachers? Just hits the dragons. That's kinda it. Though. Not much else. Could play Loran of the third path. Or Destroy Evil to kill a Lockdown. Or slash Omni. Or a dragon. Maybe Destroy Evil's fine. Might be on Overlords. We have not seen Overlords, but that is a good point, I guess, that Dreams would help against those. Alright, 1 Dreams over the Preacher on the draw. Seems a bit glacial into the matchup. Maybe I can even cut a land and play 23 lands. On the draw with no Preachers. Nie no, co to za głupi pomysł, cut lands bro on your landless deck. If Kaito was a Darkslick Shores, this is a snap keep. Although it wouldn't really interact with Omni, so... At least opponent mulligans as well. They mulligan to 5, and so will I guess. A swamp into Nightmare, into pass, into pass, into pass, into pass, into pass, into cleanup. That sounds like a bad plan. This is good. Finally, some good fucking hands. They move to 5, so I want to keep Nightmare for sure. So I'll just put back Talent. What pair of lands is better? Do I need double blue, double black, or double white? It's not double white for sure, so I need double... Black, more likely, I think. I put back Seachrome Coast. Blue sounds better with... So I'll be picking up Nightmare on turn 2. So then I'll have Nightmare in my hand on turn 3. So I think I want to have black. If I draw another one or a Duress, that does sound like a better situation. I think we Nightmare first. Omni discarded. Oh no. If I Duress, I can prevent a stock up. Lockdown, Overlord of the Mistmoors, indeed. A Blast Zone. Maybe let's chill with the Vacuum. Let's Nightmare them again next turn. Well, the Overlord might be an issue. What did we draw? Confounding Riddle. Ay, caramba. Let's hope they don't hit a land drop right now. Would be a bit of an issue. Or maybe they draw a Seachrome Coast. Good, good. So Omni down. Pixie. If I play Pixie, then everything gets swept by the Blast Zone, but I don't think I actually mind that too much. The Nightmare seems to put my opponent in a tough spot still. They have to choose either they try to top deck a land, they discard Abuelos. We go land swing. That was another option, but I think I prefer playing the Pixie. Sweating every draw step. Let's exile the Kirin. Best draw would be Kaito. Kinda, opponent can't win if I draw Kaito. Destroy evil. It's not the worst. Seems like we just activate the Restless Anchorage. I'm playing 3 manlands right now. It's 2 Anchorages and 1 Restless Reef, but honestly, I'm wondering if I should simply just play only Anchorages. 3 Anchorages as my 3 blue-white lands, and Restless Reef would be something else. It might be awkward to have a lot of your lands to be the same, but it's probably not a big issue. I want to spell Pierce. No way. You're not sure what to do with your Ochulus list. Neither do I, my friend. Surface level Siren seems pretty valuable in a deck like this too. Do alright. On turn 1, it's really valuable to just do stuff early. Bit of isolation, not so great. Can fire off their blast zone any minute now. Maybe sacrificing the Nightmare was pretty bad, because I would love to be able to pick it up still. It makes sense. Are we blasting? Let's kill the blast zone. It's probably a mistake, I guess, because they can flashback spells now, right? If they play Founding. Founding of the third path. Founding the third path. Exile instant or sorcery copy, you may cast a copy. Yeah, so I should hit a spell. Should hit Abuelos. Not a blast zone? Bro, this is insane. Pick up a Survey land for Giga value. I think this sacrificing that nightmare was actually horrible. I definitely shouldn't have done that. Sure. I will destroy evil the overlord, but end of turn. Don't want to get it up well. Well, we can kind of for sure. I can just tap my mana to summon it, so that's no issue. If I get countered, that's fine, because then I Kaito freeze the overlord, and I think I'm in a fine spot. So even if my opponent has a confounding riddle, they kind of can't really do much about it. Because either the overlord dies or not. Kaito's such a good card. It's a really good card, but in very few matchups actually. That's why I moved them to my sideboard entirely. It's just pretty hard to defend playing main deck copies. So yeah, if they have confounding riddle and they just let this happen, then they are kinda screwed. They could of course riddle, flip Omni, and then just combo kill me, but not even one for the open decklist in main. Well, that is an argument, but I think I would prefer to have a stock up, which is actually good against I think most decks. Because that's like this is the slot. This could be Kaito main deck. I do hope they riddle, honestly. That would be incredible for me. Riddle me this. Yeah, Kaito is pretty medium in the mirror. Or maybe just bad. Occasionally it does stuff, but not really a card you're excited to draw, especially on the draw. Alright, I hope they go for countering. That's the best for me, frankly. You can play around Spell Pierce as well. You might have the bounce, that is alright. The heavy bounce was no-brainer counter. Bros, are you aware that you can just play your Kaito for mana? You don't have to ninjutsu it. Because you don't seem aware of that line. Fear of Isolation alongside Shadowy Backstreet. Already surveilled twice this game. Incredible. Morang River Regent, but Coil and Catch. That seems largely unthreatening. They discard Abuelos. That's fine. Their play seemed like the worst possible, really. I don't know why they went with that. If I draw a Nightmare, they just die. Because the Overlord is gonna be not relevant anymore. Do I want to join Restless Reef? Do I want to draw this down? Restless Reef means another lethal threat. Holding up this down doesn't seem to matter much. Town can save us against the combo. I guess if they go at 2 mana, discard. Put... Yeah, I guess they actually could. They could go 2 mana, mill Omni, and then Abuelos. They did discard an Abuelos, so probably they could have it. What if they play Marang River Regent? Then I think they die. Regent, I'm gonna have 2 flyers. They have to bounce 2. They die to Tatabe on the Regent. So I think they should have no outs. So bros, watch me. We are back. Alright, Omni defeated. It was the third time Fear of Isolation picked up Shadowy Backstreet this game to surveil. So it was paying off. Just giga value. There were some lists going around with lots of stock ups. Could you explain your rationale behind your choice of card advantage? Well, I have 2 stock ups and 2 Kaitos. I could possibly fit a third stock up in my deck, but I'm not necessarily... I don't really know if that's what I want to do, but it is an option. Heartfire Hero. Discard card. Let's hope I don't die. Kept a hand with not much removal. Might of the Meek. Oh no, that's broken. Wait, 1 lander? Makes sense that you discarded the Questing Druid then. Should I play a Pixie now? Or is it more flexible to just go Fear right now? If I play Fear right now, then my opponent still discards their worst card. So it doesn't really matter to do it now. I think I should play the Fear. There's a chance my opponent will not even attack. And next turn I can play Hopeless Nightmare and keep up 2 mana, so I'm more flexible. So the Tatabe can happen and I can block through Monstrous Rage. Might of the Meek for free. I guess I'm not blocking after all. So flexy. Indeed, Xerkuva. Oh no, opponent unstuck. You've been playing a momentum breaker over the second GTFO. Have I tried breaker at all? The life gain has been huge a few times. I have played momentum breaker and honestly, it just feels to me like it's good in no matchups. Like, is there a particular deck where you think to yourself, holy guacamole, I wish I had a momentum breaker? What will you do about Thrune? Oh, I thought about that as well, way more than I should. And the answer simply is, I just won't do anything about Thrune. Dreams of Steel and Oil and discard it, or I'll raise my opponent with flyers. I think that's a fine plan for Thrune. Oh, the lag. You're a bit of an awkward situation. I will have to Tatabe my Pixie, but I think that's fine. It's okay versus Jeskai Orchulus, maybe also Control. Yeah, it's alright versus Oculus, but some of them play Sirens, and then, like, do I really want to play an Edict against a person who plays Sirens? Why is Frun the last troll? Because he went into hiding while other trolls flourished, but they flourished in a way where they actually died in the end. So Frun now has to bear the cross of that. Oh, no stock ups on the draw. I'm not sure about Duress against the blue-green deck, the green-red deck. Actually, I think against this deck I want to play Dreams of Steel and Oil. I'm not sure I want 4 Tatabes. One Novice Inspector, very scientific. It is scientific, I just wanted one more thing to pick up. Maybe let's try 2 Dreams, 1 Tatabe out on the draw. Could play Baloff as well. Find mulligans, I have Dreams and Pierce. Into Preacher. Well, hopefully my opponent doesn't play 2 monster cards on turn 1 and 2. Opaline George. Ooh, no monster is awesome. I just get to play Darkslick Shores and pass. So next turn, if I pierce a Cory here, it's awesome. If they play 2-drop monster, then it's not awesome, but I get to cast Dreams and decide if I want to play the Surveillant or hold up the Pierce next turn. Should disrupt their curve as well. Emberheart Challenger. But I barely knew her. Authority of the Consuls. No, no, no. Let's see what you've got. Get to take the cutter? No, I don't. I have the authority in my hand. And I spell pierce. So my opponent... Like, the cutter is gonna be not great if it gets pierced, right? My opponent just goes cutter and I pierce. I simply play Preacher and I think I'm in a great spot. Because then if I untap with Preacher with GTFO and Authority... I'm not sure about Authority in general, but we'll see. Cutter plus Authority instead, turn 3 Preacher. Well, if my opponent plays the Steel Cutter, I pierce it. If they don't play the Steel Cutter, I guess the worst case is if they draw a second monster, but that is fine. They can have the Cutter in play if they have no spells. And I think, like, I play the Preacher regardless, so... Hearth Elemental has an easier time playing around Spell Pierce. And it gets better as the game goes on. Now he can Cory plus Monastery. Yeah, I have a Spell Pierce. Chopin plays around. But like, Cory plus Monastery, yeah, like that's fine. Was that better than Authority Hold Up Pierce and go? Yeah, then my opponent plays their 4th land. They already showed that they played around Pierce. But see, no attacks, like Preacher is also in those spots. I think we can attack. Make some vampires. Authority should give a good amount of breathing room against the Steel Cutter. So now we don't know their hand. Oh, another Steel Cutter. Might be piercing time. So the villain cannot double spell. Creature Brother. A Jaldred would be decent in a spot like this. Nowhere to run wouldn't be too bad either. Emberheart Challenger. But I already said Bro is just gonna card advantage me with the stupid Challenger because I drew 0 removal. That is unkind. An NTR or a Grim Bauble would go a long way. No nie, no weźcie mnie, trzymajcie, kurwa. Soon my Preacher is gonna start drawing cards at this point. Which is fine. Might of the Meek, no nie. This is a bit horrible. Finally, some good fucking spells. Authority looking pretty good, honestly. Against the Coris, it does mean that Preacher can just wrestle with it. And now I have a lot of we can just Tatabe token. That's just not doing anything too quickly. And also casting 2 spells per turn is not always so trivial for those decks, frankly. We're at 11 both, so can double trigger Preacher. Plan is keeping the Swift Spear to trigger it next game. Holy shit, Preacher was so awesome this game. Just everything went according to the plan. The plan has double Cory Steel Cutter and we are preaching. Well, they also flooded like hell, but still, you could lose to double Cory without that. And I flooded, well, maybe I flooded less, but ooh, that's a good draw. Well, I drew somewhat badly as well at first. Anti-R. I'll use it on the Swift Spear. My opponent wants to save the Swift Spear, that is fine with me. Means that it's harder for them to trigger Coris. And I want to pick it up with the Fear of Isolation. So I have 7 damage right now incoming, by the way. Alright, stop me. Might of the Meek, my Preacher, curious. Trample, Death Touch, broken combo. Oh no, shock my monster. Maybe I keep one preacher back. Emberheart Challenger is gone. I don't think I need to play 4 preachers. Pretty good in multiples, I guess. Well, in the sense that if the first one is good, then the second one is also good. But also, I guess if the first one is bad, then the other ones are also pretty bad. Pretty tricky. But I wouldn't really mind drawing 2 per game against red. But that's kind of the... That's what you should... Like, that's when you should play 3. This seems like a great hand. Hopeless Nightmare into Fear of Isolation. Ooh, the MVP is showing up, but we're going with the Nightmare. Platform Verge could be Omni again. Seems like it. Discard Omni. That's rough. Seems like I'm limited on black, so it's gonna be Pixie this time. Replay the Nightmare. Hopefully I can shred their hand enough so that they can't combo off after reanimating Omni on turn 4. Also, opponent just casts a stock up, so that seems possibly impossible. So kind of painful that we helped them by playing out the Hopeless Nightmare. But I don't think playing out the Inspector instead is reasonable at all. I don't think I really beat Abuelos here, so maybe my opponent will not have it. If I just sit there with this down ain't big enough to try to bounce the Omniscience, that's just... Sounds like a play that also loses to every other possible type of a hand my opponent could have kept on top of losing to Abuelos. Yeah, that lane would lose to 1 free counterspell, which seems way too bad. Plus Zona. Do I mind if my opponent passes and activates Plus Zone to kill my nightmares? How do I want to bounce though? Only have 1 black anyways. So I think I'll just pass. Better against Lockdown to just pass. Moment of truth resolves. When this creature enters, investigate. I could also play a second Spell Pierce main deck instead of the Novice Inspector. How about that? 3 too much, too many. Well, I could just move it to the main deck. Play an extra stock up in the sideboard over the Novice Inspector. Stock up seems valuable in the mirror. Have to untap and just attack, unfortunately. Okay. Good morning, Chimba. Opponent only has 2 cards in hand. It's not gonna be easy to win. Well, maybe it is. Maybe it's gonna be actually quite easy. But I mean, they get Omni and they have to kill me and also survive me interacting with Omni. I had to play out the Fear of Isolation though, with just 1 black source in play. I can't reliably kill them next turn. Resolves. Stock up peak. NTR. Moment of truth, alright. Yeah, draw free this card, cool. Oh, we win. Actually, we killed Omni. Chat. Holy shit, if I had a little bit more black mana, this game would have been so much easier because I would be able to hold up 2 interactions. And 2 interactions would be really hard for them to beat here. Well, I mean, they could beat it by... Oh, well, not even that. I can bounce it, so... They're not even that hard, that easy to beat. Grim Bauble and NTR out. Vacuum, Kaito, Duress, Stock Up, GTFO out. Novice Inspector out. Destroy Evil in. Preacher of the Schism out. Dreams of Steel and Oil in. Loran. There's no way Loran is good. Let's just have double dreams, I think. It's just so good if they actually... It's just so good if they actually... board into Overlords, which I expect most would. If I board out the Inspector here... I could also trim down on Fire of Isolation, but... I mean, it's risky that I will not just draw an enabler for it, but I have... It's fine, I can like play Vacuum, pick it up. If it comes down to that. No siemaneczko, 532 ad. Witam użytkownika. Wonder if I just want a 4th Preacher over Loran. No. No. It's better to be more dimensional, as we have established in the Cory. In the Gruul Cory matchup we just played, it was actually pretty good to draw Loran throughout the most of the game. It fills out the interaction suite. Also having 2 Spell Pierce main deck probably brings my win rate against Omni really high. I think they struggle a lot to beat Spell Pierce out of Pixie in game 1 because just lockdown is so bad. So you just Nightmare them and hold up a Pierce, and then it's hard to play around Spell Pierce against the Nightmare deck. So Spell Pierce is just good in Pixie because of the Hopeless Nightmare, because people discard excess lands. This hand goes Dreams of Steel and Oil, which is not even actually great on turn 1. Into not much. I think we can do better. That's better, sort of. And put back one of my fast lands, so we have the keep of 3 different fast lands, and we just roll with it. Plus the Restless Reef. Dreams of Steel and Oil. So the dreams are maybe kinda sus because my opponent's list actually has 3 Mana Griever Regents, and I guess in open decklist I will see if they have the Overlords. But they literally have 7 creatures, so... That is not great. Thought your speaker is glitched. Oh no, Spell Pierce on my Nightmare. That is so hopeless. I wish I had a Preacher over the Dreams in this hand, for sure. Maybe I should cast it still. Because I'm casting the stock up next turn. Alright, we had a regen, so at least there is that. This list is from 5 days ago. Almost all Omni lists now run no invasion and founding a skill condition and indeed 1 to 2 overlords post board. Sure, but yeah. Well, that's the hope. But if your opponent happens to not actually run the cards you wish them to run, it could be a problem. Hopeless Nightmare. Kirin. Could pick Tatabe. Opponent stocking up a lot. GG's, stock up has been cast. Well, I cast 1, opponent cast 2. Who wins now? No idea, honestly. I do let them discard an Omni if I... play the Nightmare now. Stocks up, cocks down. You really like saying that, Alp. There's been many times I've seen you post the same or roughly the same message in the chat. Cocks up. I mean, it is pretty good, right? Cocks up. That's just kind of... Whoa. Monastery Mentor. How about that? You can discard Omni now. So I can Dreams of Seal and Oil that. But I would probably just keep Nowhere to Run ×2. What an insane transformation from the sideboard. Truly didn't see it coming, yeah. They have successfully transformed into a Monastery Mentor deck. Prowess, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a 1/1 white monk token with Prowess. What a simple yet evocative card. People love Monastery Mentor. My opponent lockdowns me, though. It's kind of tricky. I stock up. Of course you do. Of course you stock up, my friend. What else? Restless Reef potentially much worse than Anchorage would have been here. Oh no, speak little, do much. Well, I could return a stock up with my Stormchaser's talent. I could return Dreams and cast it. I could Kirin the Nightmare and cast it. Lets me attack with my Otters, which deals a good amount of damage. Then I have 6 flying damage. If I get locked down, then my opponent has to jump the Restless Reef. If they play River Regents, they can't really do all that much with it. I guess they champ with a monk token, so they take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They go to 4. They take 8, they go to 6, actually. Picking a stock up is probably just worse than activating the Restless Reef over and over and misses a huge attack this turn. We're gonna Restless Nightmare. Of course, worst case, I just put their Omni into their graveyard and then they Abuelo it and win. They do have 2 cards only, so it's not trivial. My final thoughts on Blue-Red Prowess. It's a really good deck. Still considering if maybe I should just play it. Alright, opponent down to 4. Do your worst. Roiling Dragon Storm. They did discard Abuelos earlier this game to my nightmare. It's kind of weird not to reanimate it first and if you have a second one, but I guess seems like they just don't. Alright, that's fine. It's a lot of prowess, but how does that help you, my friend? 8, 11 damage. What was my build of it? So I didn't really know. I tried some stuff. People in my RC group just tried a bunch more stuff and like all of that just seems kind of viable. So it's just really hard to say. So I guess I didn't really have one. Alright, so opponent casts 3 cantrips and they die. Cool. When our deck lists due? Tomorrow at 6. Let's check if that's true. Kanister wins the match, awesome. Excellent hand. In reverse land. Opponent play Cory Gruul. Oh well, this is way too bad. And could be better. But it's not, so too bad. Ah. Late to the party. Challenger? I barely... Wouldn't hate drawing a land. Okay, just Screaming Nemesis. That's fine. So it's just an actual mono red deck. "25 lands Pixie when. 3 mana ideal 3, very good. Well, yeah, they are very good right now. Although, I can block. What sound does Screaming Nemesis make? Evidently and obviously, it just screams. No i pizda, no. Chuja mogę wygrać w takim scenariuszu. Chuja w dupę. When I play Standard, it feels like billions of games just finish with like are lost because of a mana screw or flat situation, way more than in Modern. In Titan I barely flat. No super, monsterek, w chuj obrażeń, no. Rozkurwiłeś mnie na skillu. O, lądzik, super. Teraz szkoda, że mogę sobie go tylko wsadzić w jaja. No i super zagrałeś, naprawdę świetnie. Good game. So against Mono Red, I need no stock up. And I think I want no Pierce. They do play many haste monsters, so I will play Authority of the Consuls, just blanks the haste monsters. And I'll play the Grim Bauble. And I will not care for Dreams of Steel and Oil. Like, I think I just keep my deck as is. So I'll note it down. Mono red. The Grim Bauble. And Authority of the Consuls. It's gonna get replaced by Spell Pierce stock up. Novice Inspector staying in the deck. Seems not too bad. But also not really relevant. Doesn't block anything. Did I test the Black Overlord and Pixie? Yeah, it's just worse than the Defiled Crypt. I had one main deck. It's so expensive to keep picking up, and it can only produce creatures, so it can only give you... It can only give you one type of... card advantage, which is creatures, which can translate to removal and more nightmares, which is good, but you can't pick up lands with it, etc. Seems just worse than a stock up to me. I actually drew the swamp, so sometimes you got to believe in the top card of your deck being relevant. Because now I think lands are a great draw. Yeah, I discard links, cool. They go to 15, so I am the one pressuring them. Just would be really important to draw a land. Manifold Mouse, alright. Oh, that's awesome. So I could Nightmare them down to 3 cards. Or I could make another Otter. Then they... Does the Otter deal more than 2 damage? Well, next turn, those Otters gonna be free freeze. So now they go to 11, and then I have 11 damage. So they have to jump. And I think there's no way I die. So yeah, I don't recommend the Overlord of the Belmurk. On top of that, it just misses when you play it. I think the Defiler Crypt is just a better version of that effect out of the sideboard. Lithomanting Barrage. Alright, it's fine. I take whatever amount of damage you tell me to take. So I'll just lethal my opponent. Nice. Lithomanting Barrage. That's a funny card against my deck. I guess it does kill Fear of Isolation. That's about it, though. There's also an option to bring Destroy Evil to destroy links instead of Novice Inspector, but sounds worse to me. Who's the beatdown now? Opponent? Agreed. It's me. So I don't know, I have a hard time not getting tilted because I feel like this has been happening so often. Just one landers upon one landers upon one landers. And then it's so hard to win. Oh, triple Pinelands. As for my black sources as well. They do mull to 5, so maybe I am supposed to keep, but it is ugly. Maybe it's good enough against a mull to 5. If I just draw anything, if I draw a Fear of Isolation, the hand is just great. It's the best possible curve, really. Hopefully opponent plays a 1-drop. No 1-drop. Alright, but I drew a Kirin. So if I draw a top land, I wanted to have deployed a Underground River. Definition of a begrudging keep to you, alright. Bro just forgot to play creatures. I mean, if they play good one right now, that's gonna suck. Okay, they played a bad one. I'll play a Preacher. If I play this and my opponent Monstrous Energy rages, that is way too bad. If they attack into a Preacher, I might even just block, right? It's a 2 for 1. Seems weaker than just getting a 10,000 for 1 from my Preacher. And next turn I can... Yeah, I can just Bauble, Kirin Bauble, and then my opponent just can't win, or even that, that's simpler and better. Make a monster. Probably just play another Courtyard, anti-R the Hired Claw, and GG bro, I can't win anymore. Your deck has no removal for my 2-4 idiot. And none of your cards do anything from behind because you're playing an aggro deck. Next turn I can double trigger Preacher. What was their keep? Well, opponent mulligan to 5. So they kept 5 cards, that's kind of why their hand is bad, right? Actually I can double trigger Preacher, because I gain life and they lose 3. Yeah, whatever. Preacher of Schism called an idiot after saving the game. Poor dude. Yeah. So, I don't know. I always thought that Preacher is incredible against red. Not necessarily by itself, by like having the expectation of the card just winning the game by itself, but combined with your other cards, it's just ties the room up really nicely, which I just find to be useful and good. And look how good it is